news blip. And here's a news blip from the American Society of Human Genetics from not too long ago.
And oh yes, we'll get to that junk DNA thing soon. But I wanted to look at this little blurb here about Neanderthals when they interbred with the other tribes of humans, how they returned some lost versions of DNA to the population, and that these genes, Neanderthal DNA markers, are found in Europeans and in Asians. Thousands, tens of thousands of these genes showed up. Now, the whole deal here goes how we had a common ancestor with Neanderthals. This common ancestor phrase is constantly used by evolutionists. Of course, they believe us and monkeys had a common ancestor. They believe that us and oak trees had a common ancestor. So that's part and parcel of their mantra. Well, let's take a look here. It says that Neanderthals shared ancestors. Yeah, Neanderthals carried these old alleles while developing their own versions. Now, this is a prime example of the evolutionist Darwinist just so stories. The Neanderthals developed their own versions. How did they do that? How do organisms just generate new information in new DNA, in genes and alleles that didn't have that information in the past? There's no known mechanism. Oh, this is a natural selection. No, the word natural selection means to pick or choose, select. It's not natural generation, it's natural selection. And that has zero power to create new genetic information. But they just say it anyway. Look, they developed their own versions of these. And then when we separated from them, according to the monkey people that walked out of Africa, the Neanderthals came out later and supposedly, and then, you know what? Let's take a look at a more biblical worldview. After Noah's flood, an ice age ensued for about 500 years. The tribe of people, now known as Neanderthals, and I'm not sure what they would have been called back in the biblical days after Noah, but these people were built short and stout, strong. The origin and insertion of their muscles was more favoring towards being powerful and strong. Their nasal passages were broad and were able to warm the air on its way to the lungs. They were perfectly built for cold weather, better than other people just by luck and chance. And so they all colonized northern Europe during the Ice Age. For about 500 years, that population was separated from the rest of the humans on Earth, descended from Noah's family. Then these genes that had been lost by a real process that can be observed and explained scientifically, called genetic drift. There's also the bottleneck effect at play too, but that you could lose some versions of genes, and then they could be reintroduced when finally the Ice Age was over and Cro-Magnons and other tribes moved into Northern Europe, and then they began to breed with the Neanderthals, a lost tribe, a lost part of the human family. Instead of referring to Homo sapiens as being different, see what it says there? Homo sapiens left behind, Neanderthals. You know, check it yourself. All scientific sources will tell you Neanderthals were Homo sapiens. Their new classification as of the early 2000s was Homo sapiens neanderthalensis, and you and I are Homo sapiens sapiens. They're just another variety, another tribe, another gene pool of Homo sapiens. And all of this trying to say they're different. Now, there was another time in about 10 years ago when the evolutionists tried to say Neanderthals developed new genes. It was the origin of red hair. And so all your Scots and Irish that have the red hair are to be considered descended from Neanderthals. And I think they are. And I think Neanderthals did. We're the first people group to come up in a gene pool with red hair. But just like the red color in the leaves in the fall
is always there, and you don't see it because the green dies and the red was there. Same thing, if you have jet black hair, you're a guy, you might notice that sometimes some of your jet black hairs grow out perfectly red. It's because there was a somatic cell thing going on where the other pigments fell out and the red was finally exposed. It's always there. So Neanderthals didn't develop or mutate or churn out or crank out or generate red hair. It was always there in everybody. And all they did was they lost the ability to make the other pigments in certain family strains and gene lines in the Neanderthal tribe. And so as a result, the only color left was red. This is devolution, not evolution. It's the dropout of genetic information and the showing up of information that was always there. It's another little magic trick, a little card trick, and a waving of the hand that the evolutionists do, claiming that this was more descent with modification. Well, if descent with modification is just turning off genes, then bacteria should all turn off all their genes and become humans now. So don't let them fool you or even try to school you. That's what Bob Marley said. I'm with him on that. God bless and have a good day. Keep thinking.